it. All I want is you. All I want is you. Now.
Hello, I'm Morgan Fleming and I'm from E! News doing a special on the famous King Henry VIII's wife. The purpose of this is to get an in-depth look into the wives and what they thought during their marriage. The wives contributed to his legacy today in various ways, and today you will hear about their different stories and experiences. Yay! Now that you have been introduced to all the wives, it's time to start the interview. First we have his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. Hello, how are you, Catherine?
Hey Morgan, I'm great today.
That's great, so I have a few questions to ask you. So starting off, how long were you and King Henry married?
We were married from 1509 to 1533.
Oh, so tell me what it was like to be married to him, and how did you guys break up?
I was married to Henry after my husband Henry's brother died in 1509. The marriage started out as a happy marriage until I found out that I was pregnant shortly after the wedding. The baby was a stillborn in 1510, and following it there were many other disappointments. I had a son that was alive for 52 days, and then I had a miscarriage followed by another short-lived son. Oh my God. But then a miracle happened. I gave birth to my first daughter, Mary. Henry soon started to get frustrated with the fact that I couldn't have a boy, so he couldn't have his male heir. And soon after he started to distance himself from me. I thought that it was because I couldn't have boys, but it was really because he was cheating on me with Anne Boleyn.
Ooh, I know he did!
Soon, I didn't say anything the first time, but after a couple of years went by, more disappointment started to happen when I found out that he actually impregnated Anne.
Ew, that's nice.
And then he wanted to divorce me. After all that, after all I've been through, he wanted to divorce me. And then we decided that, well, actually he decided that enough was enough, and
Kill, Mo. Thanks, Catherine. Here comes the next wife. Hello, how are you, Anne?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine today. I'm going to ask you a few questions on your marriage with Henry. Let's start. Okay, so how long were you and Henry married?
We were married from 1533 to 1536.
Oh, okay. So how was it to be married to Henry?
Well, at the beginning of our marriage, he was still with that Catherine girl, or whatever, until I took over and got him to myself,
Ooh,
and we were both
dirty girl.
And we were both happily married. We used to write freaking love letters to each other, and he would send it to me and only me, even though he was with other girls.
Aww.
It was so cute, He sent me at least 17 love letters during that time. While they were being sent, he was still trying to divorce Catherine though. And yeah, and it was a long process, but it finally got done, and we ended up having a baby, and her name was Elizabeth. And we were happily married until I got charged with adultery and witchcraft, but I later got executed, and then Henry moved on. And that's it.
What a shame, girl, what a shame. Okay, let's have the next wife come out. Jane, hello, how are you today?
I'm fabulous, Morgan.
Okay, Jane, so now it's your turn. Let's talk about your marriage with Henry.
Henry and I were married from 1536 to 1537. Henry was first introduced to me when he came to my house, and my father introduced me to him. I guess you could say that's when we started having a crush on each other. Well, anyway, it seemed like our love was perfect, and then within 24 hours of Anne's execution, his second wife, we got married. And the love seemed to be there, and everything was perfect. And of course, we had to have a child. And it was a male, his first male heir. And so it seemed perfect, and Edward was born, but I was very weak when Edward was born. So after 2 weeks of him being born, I unfortunately died, and Henry was very upset. And I actually was the first and only
You should feel honored, James. Thank you. Next we have coming up is Henry's fourth wife, Anne of Cleves.
Looking for a boyfriend, I see that.
Okay.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Good. Now I have some questions for you. How long were you and Henry married?
We're married from January to July of 1540.
Okay. How was your marriage with Henry?
Our marriage was good. Henry wanted to stay on the throne, so he basically used me for that. And a man named Thomas Cromwell suggested to him that we should be married or whatever. And he saw a picture of me and he wanted to meet me in person. So when he met me in person, he had this horrible face, look on his face, and I was just like, okay. And I guess he thought I was ugly or something, but I don't think I'm ugly. And
Of course not.
Yeah. But we still went on with our marriage, and our marriage didn't last long since Henry thought there was a problem, so we got divorced a few months after.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, here comes another wife.
I'll roll up, I'll roll up, I'll roll up.
Hey, Catherine.
Hey, Morgan. So I'm guessing you want to talk about my marriage with Henry. Well, here's how it started. We were married from 1540 to 1542, and we were married. When we got married, he was 49 and I was only 19. He only wanted to be my husband because he thought that I would lift his spirits and feel more younger, and I just went along with it because he was a king. Okay. He constantly brought me gifts, and he wrote me love letters saying how special I was, and he called me his rose without a thorn.
That's what he did as a white girl.
Less than a year into our marriage, I started to get bored with him, so I started to see younger men. And soon after, I was accused of these infidelities many times, but Henry never believed them until one day he actually caught me doing this stuff. And I was actually executed, and I was buried next to my cousin, his second wife, Anne of Boleyn. Sad story.
That is very sad. Well, on to the next wife.
Dang.
Hey, Catherine. Let's get to your marriage.
Okay. So basically, Henry and I were married from 1543 to 1547, and I wanted the attention of him, so I finally got to him and we got married. Yeah, it was great. And I was a great stepmom to Henry's 3 children since he had other wives and they had babies. And yeah, we were happily married for a while until my husband sadly died on the 28th of January in 1547.
Oh.
And that was a very sad day for us, and I later moved on to Thomas Seymour. But I still love my Henry. And
Neck girl.
Oh, well, that's a very sad thing to hear, Catherine. I wish Henry could have been in your life longer. But on another note, that was the last of King Henry's 6 wives. All 6 of them have been through their own individual journeys to be here today.
Can't take no more. Never.
I'm great, Morgan. How are you?
That's great. So I have a few questions to ask you.
I thought you
I'm worth 100 racks. My cooking dance. This my cooking dance. I'm in the kitchen and I'm whipping up my cooking dance. Drake, I couldn't think of nothing around with that. Swag. But
Some questions for you. How long were you and Henry married? Wait, what?
I got a whole lot of money. Y'all it for me. Bottle keep popping that water man. Drinking. It's a party, it's a party, it's a party.
and that's it.